taking a look at our developing story for tonight. As the tension in the Korean peninsula grows, North Korea has called on foreign countries to consider evacuating their embassies in Pyongyang. The announcement came nearly a month after North Korea began to up anti-American and anti-South Korean rhetoric.
As tensions in the Korean peninsula grows, North Korea has called on foreign countries to consider evacuating their embassies in Pyongyang. Now, the announcement came nearly a month after North Korea began to up its anti-American and anti-South Korean rhetoric. Pyongyang has told foreign embassies that it cannot guarantee their safety in case a conflict breaks out. Yesterday, diplomats in Pyongyang were asked to inform the North Korean Foreign Ministry by the 10th of April what help they would need to evacuate. The warning prompted Russia to question whether Pyongyang was offering help or making a decision.
We
are seriously studying the warning, considering all of their details. We are confident in the imperative impossibility of military actions unfolding in the Korean peninsula, and we think it's categorically unacceptable to intensify military hysteria. We are counting on the maximum restraint of all of the parties involved.
4 days after Pyongyang closed down the border between the two countries, 21 more South Koreans working in the north arrived home today. The Kaesong Industrial Park is considered the last remnant of cooperation between the two countries. North Korea has issued a series of unusually strong threats since the UN imposed fresh sanctions on the country. It formally declared war on the south and threatened nuclear strikes on the United States. Yesterday, South Korean media reported that the North has moved 2 intermediate-range missiles into position off its eastern coast. However, US officials have played down the threat of war on the Korean peninsula.
And we've obviously seen the reports that North Korea may be making preparations to launch a missile, and we're monitoring this situation closely, and we would not be surprised to see them take such an action. We have seen them launch missiles in the past, and the United Nations Security Council has repeatedly condemned them as violations of the North's obligations under numerous Security Council resolutions, and it would fit their current pattern of bellicose, unhelpful, and unconstructive rhetoric and actions.
Meanwhile, in his weekly newspaper column, former Cuban President Fidel Castro issued a plea to both North Korea and the United States to avoid a possible conflict with catastrophic consequences. A section from Castro's Thursday Reflections column called on North Korea to remember its allies and stressed the United States' responsibility in avoiding a conflict. The increase in anti-American rhetoric by North Korea commenced after fresh UN sanctions. However, it was fueled by anger towards joint US-South Korean military drills in the region as well. North Koreans staged their own military drill recently, and these visuals were released to the media by North Korea's KRT news agency yesterday. North Korea's state media released video footage of its leader Kim Jong-un inspecting military drills amid high tension on the peninsula. The North state-run television KRT showed Kim inspecting landing and counter-landing operations and checking multiple launch rocket systems, which involved combined units including the North Korean Navy. KRT also showed the North's leader supervising pistol and automatic file firing drills at the 2nd Battalion under the North Korean People's Army and demonstrating his shooting skills to military officers and soldiers. Kim Jong-un also supervised a drill by the country's armed forces to shoot down an unmanned combat plane carrying simulated cruise missiles. KRT said the mobile anti-aircraft rockets and unmanned combat planes were mobilized for the drill. It is not yet known if North Korea possesses drones, although a report on South Korea's Yonhap news agency last year that it had obtained 1970s-era US target drones from Syria to develop into attack drones.
Now, the Ministry of External Affairs says that they are monitoring the situation in the Korean peninsula and are paying close attention to the security of Sri Lankans living in South Korea.
The ministry said that it is monitoring the situation through the Sri Lankan embassy in South Korea as well as the Sri Lankan embassy in China. The Ministry of External Affairs notes that steps have been taken to ensure the safety of the Sri Lankan migrant workers residing in Korea in case of an emergency situation. A senior official attached to the Ministry of External Affairs stated that security will be ensured with the assistance of the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau. According to the Deputy General of the SLBF, Mangal Randhaniya, over 20,000 Sri Lankan are employed in South Korea. He further noted that officials from SLBF are on constant alert about their safety and security.
Also in local news, parliamentarian Ravikana Nayaka says that if the country is to emerge victorious, everyone should come together devoid of race and religion.
The Sinhalese, Tamils, Muslims, Burghers, Malays and everyone else have gathered here to celebrate the Sinhala and Tamil New Year in a manner that protects the Sri Lankan identity. This is the path which our country needs. This is the true Sri Lankan identity, which is a lesson to all Sri Lankans. Everyone should come together to celebrate Sinhala and Tamil New Year and move forward. Then the country will emerge victorious. The MP expressed this view at a New Year festival organized by the youth organization of the Colombo 14 Henamulla Kandura.
Well, today marks the 5th death anniversary of former Minister Gerard Fernando Pulle. A commemoration event was held opposite the memorial erected at the county grounds in Bariberia, the location where the former minister was killed.
Government ministers as well as members of Gerard Fernando Pulle's family were present at the occasion.
ජාතීන් වෙනුවෙන් ඒ සියලු දෙනාටත් අපි මේ මොහොතේදී ආරාධනය කර සිටිනවා සහෝදර සහෝදරයන්ට
එතුමා මේ රටේ විශේෂයෙන්ම ගම්පහ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ
He was an individual who dedicated himself to the people of the country, especially the people of Gampaha and the Katana electorate. He practiced this as an attorney at law and did so in parliament as well.
ඒ වගේම එතුමාගේ නීතිඥ වෘත්තියේ පාවා ඒ වෙනුවෙන්ම කැප කරපු ඒ වගේම පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ සිට ජනතා සේවයේ කැපවූ නායකයෙක්. ජයරත්න ෆර්නන්ඩෝ අමාත්‍යතුමා ජීවිතේ පූජා කළේ මේ රටේ ත්‍රස්තවාදයට විරුද්ධව මේ රටේ සාමය සඳහා ජීවිතය.
Gerard Fernando Pulle sacrificed his life in battle against terrorism and on behalf of peace in the country. He sacrificed his life on behalf of the thousands of innocent people of the country and for the country.
ජයරත්න ෆර්නන්ඩෝ අමාත්‍යතුමා අපේ නායකයෙක් විදිහට මානවවාදී හිතවතෙක් විදිහට එතුමා ජීවිතේ පරිත්‍යාග කළේ රට වෙනුවෙන් මාතෘ භූමිය වෙනුවෙන්.
මීට අවුරුදු 5කට පෙර They took away his life 5 years ago. He was an unarmed man and what was being held here was a sport event. Terrorism took away the lives of those people.
Minister of Investment Promotion Lakshmanya Prabhavardhana says that the country has received $5,726 million in investments during the period between 2005 and 2012.
කිසිම විදියකින් පහුගිය වකවානුව ඇතුළත ආයෝජන කඩාවැටීමක් සිද්ධ වෙලා නැහැ. වසර
There has been no collapse in investments during the past. Over the past 34 years, the highest number of investments were reported between 2005 and 2012. We received $5,726 million in investments. During a short time frame of 7 years, we received $5,726 million in investments. The media may report that factories in the region have closed down and the workers have been put out, but no such thing has happened. Factories closed due to administration issues and no other reason.
නෑ එහෙම එකක් වෙලා නැහැ. කර්මාන්තශාලා වැහෙනවා පරිපාලන හේතුන් මත. නැතුව වෙන හේතුවක් මත වැහිලා නැහැ කිසිම කර්මාන්තශාලාවක්.
The minister expressed his view after an inspection of the Koggala investment promotion zone yesterday.
Well, today is the second day of the News First Urdu Exhibition and Trade Fair 2013 that is being held in Kandy, and today was specially dedicated to the children who visited the fair.
The chief guest of the second day of the Aurud Fair 2013 was the Group Director of Capital Maharaja Organizations Limited, SC Veerasekara. To commemorate the opening of the event, helium balloons were released into the air. Various traditional games were organized specially for the children who attended today's event. This year we included aquatic events. A drawing competition was also organized for children under 15 years of age. The main highlight of the event was the selecting of Aurdu Kumara and Kumariya for children.
Up next is a look at Action TV.
The 29th of last month, Action TV revealed that the Auditor General recommended to distribute these sewing machines which were to be given for minor repairs 3 years ago. He gave these recommendations when the machines were to be auctioned off as scrap material by the Director of the Central Province Rural Development and then Secretary of the Subject Ministry of the province. The auction was hindered because of the Auditor General's recommendations. However, there are 14 women rural training centres of the province that remain closed because the machines were taken away from these centres. Following Action TV's revelation, a group of officials who are attached to the provincial subject ministry visited the locations yesterday, where the machines are kept in order to conduct an inquiry related to the malpractice. One of the women's rural training centres situated at Minipe, which have been closed because of the malpractice, has now been given to a temple by the Chief Minister of the province. While the Chief Minister donated the resources to temples which are to be used for the well-being of the rural women in the province, this letter proves that the other fundings have also been used for malpractice by the officials of the Rural Development Department of the province. In this letter, the District Secretary requested the Director of the Rural Provincial Development to conduct a comprehensive investigation with regard to the malpractices which took place for the last 3 years under the guise of the Rural Development.
Let's now take a look at the newspaper cartoon of the day, which we selected from amongst today's English newspapers. In sports news this evening, the Sri Lankan rugby team qualified to the top 5 teams of the Asian Five Nations rugby pool today. They achieved this feat by topping the table in the Asian Five Nation Division 1 tournament after defeating Kazakhstan 49 points to 18 at the Havelock Sports Grounds.
Rugby teams from Chinese Taipei, Thailand, Kazakhstan and host Sri Lanka competed against each other in the Five Nations Division 1 rugby tournament. Sri Lanka, who beat Chinese Taipei and Thailand, took on Kazakhstan as the undefeated side in the tournament. The Lankans led the first half 30 points to 6. Sri Lanka scored another 19 points in the second half, while the visitors managed 12, handing the home team a 49 points to 18 win. With this victory, Sri Lanka qualified to the top 5 teams of the Asian Five Nations rugby pool after 2 years.